All right, so Matthew and I have had a number of conversations. If you are on our email list, then you have seen some of the emails I've been sending out. He and I recorded a podcast together not too long ago. I've sent out some information about Nunify because it is a super cool tool for you to use for event management, attendee engagement, specifically some really fun case studies around scavenger hunts on site at events and some other ways that you can engage people. But today we're not specifically talking about Nunify. Matthew and I are going to talk a little bit higher level around engagement in general. So Matthew, thanks for jumping on with me.
Yeah, no, pleasure to be here, Liz. Thanks for having me, as always.
So you and I were chit-chatting about a framework that you guys have put together around engagement. I would really love to start there. Can you talk to me about why you felt like engagement was a little too much of an amorphous blob and needed some help?
So, ultimately, when you talk about events, they're all about the attendees, right? So what type of experience are they having? If they're not engaged, it's probably not a very good one. And that coupled with the planners, the events teams that are putting these on, their jobs can be very difficult as well. But if they have clean, clear engagement with their attendees, their job's easier and a little more stress-free.
I love that. So easier and stress-free is what we all like to hear. We just saw Anka telling us how now you need a little bit of extra brain power to create an entire AI bot to take over your call for papers. However, if you don't have the AI ability to do that quite yet, you can turn to tools that already have AI infused in them to help you actually jump the line a little bit and move a little faster. So how are you guys looking at AI when it comes to engagement? Because I'm still a little nervous. These AI matchmaking things, I'm not fully bought into that yet.
So there's a few different ways that we look at that, and ways in the future that we'll be utilizing it more. But I would guess number one, we do have a network matchmaking feature that can be used in a number of different ways. But where AI comes in is it looks at how you are using the platform, and it will pair you with someone who is using it similar to you. But there's all kinds of ways that you can use. Well, I would say the key to full participation engagement within event tech specifically, that part really all starts months before the event happens. So the more you can get people incentivized into actually downloading and joining the app, that's when engagement becomes a huge success and a big part of the event as well.
I think that's great, and it's going to tie directly into this framework conversation that we're going to have. So you built it around the word connect, which I love.
Correct.
Anything that we've turned into an acronym, that's kind of like my jam. I totally love this thing. So start out for me, the C in connect, communicating intelligently. How does technology help us do that? Because right now, I feel like we are all communicated with a little too much.
Yeah, for sure. And then what is that communication that's coming at you as well? So communicate intelligently. So you want to be able to guide people. So when you're sending out notifications, even the emails before the event, you want to make sure that you're not just overloading people with nonsense they don't care about, but rather get straight to the point and guide them through the event. Like we're good examples from like a pre-event engagement is here are some how-to videos on how to use the app for this feature, for that feature. You can actually kind of roll out email notifications to show people how to use it. And also like bringing people into the app itself, maybe you do like a pre-event scavenger hunt of sorts within the app to do puzzles or to fill out their profile, give points for filling out profiles, have sponsors that offer prizes for certain things, or maybe your company as well can give a prize of some sort that will incentivize people to actually get into it. But from communicate intelligently, you want to make sure you're guiding them with those push notifications. You're not kind of spamming them, call it with ads from other exhibitors or people that are there at the event, but rather I guess one notification that always enables people to learn how to use the app is when you tell them there's free coffee in the lobby. That notification will immediately have reactions to it, and you'll be like, oh yeah, this does work.
That's amazing. All right, so the O in connect stands for own the experience. So does that mean like from a branded perspective? Does that mean accountability? Where do you mean by that?
So that can definitely be from like a brandability standpoint, but this is more talking about the app being your one-stop shop. So like everything you need for that experience within the event is found in the app. So whether that's like an interactive map where you can actually get in there and find directions to where it is, if it's like a real big venue on where that booth is that you want to see next. Or if it's just all the information you need from, PDFs, speaker information, just like goes on and on, just making sure that all of the information that you possibly need is there in the app and it's your experience. And then from a brandability standpoint, we are fully brandable. So whether you're an exhibitor or it's your event specifically, you can definitely make that experience yours with the colors, the pictures. Like it is fully brandable, which from what I hear is not common in the event tech space.
No, I think it's reminding people that when you have this one place where you can find it all is really helpful, because currently we're WhatsApp and Slack and then notes coming in, know before you goes in email and all the things, and you're trying to piece it all together, and nobody read any of those things before they got to the event. Let's be real. Not a single person opened any of those emails.
Correct.
So when you get on site, you have one place to go. So I like that one a lot. Okay, so nudge interaction. So I'm guessing this is something like push notifications or things that entice people to engage.
Yes, and this is kind of, I would say, the best way to look at this one. It can happen with surveys, with gamification, but more specifically in like the interactive agendas. People love to feel like they're a part of the experience. So whether you are asking them to vote on what the walkout music should be, or maybe like what the keynote topic should be about, like when people feel like they're helping to build it, that they're nudged to help with that. It helps, but and then especially in the like interactive agendas itself, where people can actually communicate with one another during the session, get questions answered. And then one that I see that works very well is polling that happens live during the agendas as well, or the sessions, I should say.
Yeah, I love that. And then the next N is going to take us back to what my original question around AI networking. So N for network without awkwardness. So how can you actually leverage technology to make it less weird for people?
So there's the AI based, which, that's easy. You just click a button and it matches you with somebody who's looking to match as well. But then there's other things you can do to promote people networking. So for instance, you can award points for scanning someone else's badge. But beyond that, what are you going to talk about with that person when you scan their badge? You can actually have it set up to where, you can collect as much, information in an individual's profile that you want. But what information is going to be displayed when you scan that person's badge? So you can actually tailor it to show specifically what you want. And you automatically have these topics of interest that maybe you agree on one of them, or maybe you don't, but you automatically have something to talk about with that other person when you see it come up with the scan.
Yeah, I would say that you can also take that one outside of technology, and networking without awkwardness is probably my favorite of all of the letters, just because I think that a little facilitation, a little event wingman, a little humanity can help with that too. And we oftentimes just either we don't have time or we don't have somebody assigned to that role at the event. We put the attendees in a room and we hope that they're just going to go introduce themselves to people.
Yeah,
But it
that's
has
typically
gotten
it's typically where the people who love to talk excel, and those that are a little more reserved, they kind of just fade away and get forgotten.
Yeah, exactly.
But I will say one of our clients, the Small Business Expo, they do a great job of, they don't necessarily use the app fully other than getting people there and using it to scan badges, but they sit people in a room and then every 2 minutes it rotates. So you're talking to a new person, because the Small Business Expo is all about, I guess, working within that community to give you all the tools you need to help grow your business. Yeah. So everyone always has like their own pitch. So it's a great way to meet people and potentially find a partner in business.
Yep, absolutely. All right, the E in Connect is eliminate friction. Talk to me about this one.
Correct. So, if event tech is causing problems, then it's not a value add.
Right.
So a good look at this is, I guess back to where, it's your one-stop shop for everything. So we're owning the event, but also, like once again with like the interactive map, so they can know exactly how to get anywhere. So they don't have to stop and ask people questions, every 10 seconds to figure things out. They can actually go into the app and do it. And there's actually an AI assistant that we have now as well, which you can actually go in there and say, when does this speaker going to have another session, or when is lunch, or what's the Wi-Fi, just anything that has to do with the event, or even you can actually load information into it, like maybe like about the company or whatever makes sense. But just to have that database that your AI assistant can pull from the event and others to help answer questions that people constantly ask. So they don't have to find somebody, but rather they can just go to their AI assistant.
I think this is one of the coolest things because there is so much information. And let's say you're going to something like an IMAX with 17,000 people and 40,000 sessions and things that are happening all the time. You can navigate and click and do all the things, but having the AI agent built inside the technology that you're using to ask the question and let it tell you rather than you having to figure out how to navigate into something, I think is, not to use an AI word, but that's the game changer, right? I really think that that's going to help people navigate around some of these larger conferences. All right, your C, the last C in Connect is to co-create, which of course is one of our favorites. We do these spontaneous think tanks with our sticky notes and Sharpie markers where we co-create what the content is. What does it mean to co-create in a technology sense here?
Yeah, and I referenced it a little bit ago, but people love to feel like they're a part of it. Whether it's like seeing their name on a leaderboard or seeing their name like when they scan in to get their badge, welcome them. People just like to feel like they're a part of it. So that's where if you can get people into the app, create that pre-event buzz, that's what's going to really bring attendees in and feel like they're a part of the whole process. Yeah. So, that could be, things as filling out your profile, or, you share behind the scenes photos of what you're doing and ask people to share photos of like where they're at, where they're coming from, different things like that. You could even, give away free drink tickets for the first 100 that register, different things like that. But anything that you can do to get people to feel like, to get people in to the tech, but then also to feel like they're a part of it. And I know I mentioned earlier, like if like a speaker, like, or maybe for like the happy hour, like everyone vote on the music that's going to be playing, and then whatever gets the most votes is what's actually going to be the playlist. Like, different things like that you can do to really help the attendees feel involved.
I love that. And then your last T in Connect here, track and tune. I assume this is where we get into the really important stuff, which is the data and making changes based on what we've learned. Is that where this one takes us?
Absolutely. Yeah, so there's analytics, obviously, that we offer for a number of different things, especially the feature usage. So yeah, really being able to go in there, see what was used, see what wasn't, see where people logged in or where people didn't, so you can kind of understand, fine tune things. And then during all this, you can also be having polls that are sent out, surveys, different things like that, so that you can also get other information from people to help from a track and tune perspective. But being able to utilize that information, copy your event and make the changes accordingly, based on what happened in the previous events to make the next one more enjoyable. And even it'll give you ideas on new features or events that you want to add to bring more fun and smiles to the overall experience.
That's what this is all about. Well, I really love this framework for Connect. So C, communicate intelligently. O, own the experience. N, nudge interaction. N, network without awkwardness. E, eliminate friction. C, oops, I missed it. Co-create. And T, track and tune. Really, really, really great framework, Matthew. So I know that if people want to talk more to you about specifically how you can help them implement this framework at their events, they can find you inside the Club Ichi Slack channel. But where else can they find you?
Matthew at Nunify.com.
Fantastic. All right, so I have lost comms. I can't hear Matthew, but I am assuming that we are all good to go here. So I think that I got a dead battery, so I'm going to change that up and bring my friend Seth up. We're going to have some really fun times next, because next what I've got is the Good Fortune Potluck. It is going to be our opportunity to showcase with you the most amazing things that our community has donated into this fundraising experience. So thank you again, Matthew, and we will see you very soon.